let's talk about the exchange arbitrage, because that's another way how we could also make money. And the reason why I like exchange arbitrage, and the reason why like I'm even bringing this up, because these two are guaranteed, more or less guaranteed. As they're called they're called like basically like more like arbitrage, right? So arbitrage, the definition of arbitrage, if I'm not mistaken, is riskless profit. So you will definitely make money with no risk. While AI, you have risk associated. We cannot guarantee 30 to 50% a year that we're trying to expect, that we're trying to shoot for. We can't guarantee it. Can we guarantee it? Short answer is no, we can't. We really can't. Because what if the market drops down tomorrow? What if AI stops working? So far, it's doing great, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Therefore, we have to start thinking of ways to hedge ourselves. Obviously, the top believers will not, like, they won't care because they love the project, and the top believers realize that over the course of 5 years, over the course of 10 years, you'll still be dramatically up, even if there are some downsides for a month or 2 months, whatever, or even for 6 months, because the crypto market overall is good, because AI overall is great. So it's but we still would like to kind of like present this hedging opportunities. Rebates, the reason why it's an arbitrage, because well, kind of an arbitrage in this whole crypto trading system or ecosystem, is the fact that we don't risk anything. So we are just putting a limit order, and if the limit order gets executed, you guys get rebates, so you guys get additional stuff. So that's arbitrage. When it comes down to exchange arbitrage, it's also riskless. And the best explanation for index arbitrage is, let's assume that I would like to buy oranges. Actually, we have Luca here. So how about this? How about buy olives? I think olives is Greece, but probably Italy as well. So let's assume I buy a pound of olives for $100, and I have somebody in the US to resell that for $500, right? So this is Italy, and this is US. So is there risk included? Of course, there is some risk included, because I have to collect olives in Italy, so I have to have staff of people to hire. These guys could be drunk. These guys could be junkies. These guys could just, one of their wives is pregnant with a kid, so he has to skip work. So there's certain risk with HR. But if I eradicate that risk by over hiring a little bit more people to make sure that whoever, like 20% of people, do their thing, but 80% of people still do the job, then there's also risk with, so I collect olives. I need to make sure that I preserve them properly so they don't get rotten. Then I need to transport olives from Italy to the US safely, so not too many olives being eaten by rats on the ship, on the containers, etc. Then in the US, I need to make sure that I bribe some local mafia in the port, if mafia still exists, probably still exists, to make sure that my olives are safe. Then I also need to figure out that there is a distribution channel, whether I'm selling to wholesalers or I'm selling directly to the retailers. So this whole chain of this whole supply chain, I need to make sure that everything goes well in that whole supply chain. In that case, it's riskless. And there's still certain risk included, but this is kind of the idea. The idea of the exchange arbitrage is that at some point of time, you buy cheaper and then you resell at more expensive rate. And the faster you can do this, the less risk there is. So if you buy it at 100 and secure the $500 sale right away, resale right away, and you collect the cash, therefore you up for $400 with no risk. So that's basically the whole point of the arbitrage. That's what this word means. So I was trying to prepare again today for this webinar, but I'll probably not do a good job just letting you know right away, because I didn't finalize the last part. But let's assume that so far you have me. Let's assume that I have two exchanges, two accounts at two exchanges. So I have Coinbase Pro CBP, and I also have let's assume Bquant. And I have exchanges there too, and I have money there on my account. So here I have $100,000, and here I also have $100,000 already deposited to the exchanges. And let's assume, for the sake of the argument, that $10,000 is equal to 1 Bitcoin. Okay, so every single time I say 1 Bitcoin, it means that it's roughly worth of $10,000. So what's going to happen is this: if Coinbase Pro has the bid-ask spread at 102 and 103. And Bquant has a bid-ask spread of 105, 101, 105. Obviously, I'm like making this stuff up. So clearly, there is a hedge, there's a risk, there's an exchange arbitrage opportunity. So, and this is what I can do. I can buy at 102, and I can try to immediately resell at 105. Because the bid here is 102, the ask here is 105. So obviously this is very favorable, and it might happen from time to time. Is it going to happen every single day throughout, throughout every single minute. Is it possible? No. You have to scan for exchanges and you have to see what's up. And the exchange arbitrage was very, very popular before, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before kind of it got a lot more adoption, when Bitcoin was a lot more volatile. The arbitrage was very, very popular. Now it's less popular because you have to have representatives everywhere, all over the world. Guess what? Decentralization. Because if you have decentralization, then we do have people all over the world and they can work together. But for the sake of the argument, what can I do here? What I can do here is this. So I will buy. So I even created a spreadsheet here. So let me just maximize it. Yeah. So what I'll do is this. So at 102, I'll buy Bitcoin. So therefore, actually, for this argument, this is wrong. This is wrong. So this is the Bitcoin spread, and this is the Bitcoin bid-ask spread, right? They're both bid-ask spreads. So let me just minimize it. So what I will do is this. For $10,000 at $102, I'll be able to buy 98.04 Bitcoins on CBP, on Coinbase Pro, okay? So now I just bought them. Boom. Then what I'm gonna do, then I'm going to send that Bitcoin, so 98.04 Bitcoins. I gotta send that to my external wallet. Then I gotta resend that to Heat BTC. And I gotta sell it at 105. So if I sell it at 105, I gotta get $10,294.12. So therefore, for this whole trade, I got 10,294.12 minus 10,000. So I got $294. You'll say, well, Peter, it's only $294 for this whole operation. Plus there's some fees associated here, fees here, because probably I won't be able to just submit money from here to here. By the way, who knows? But because of regulations, it's probably better to do external wallet here and then external wallet here. Plus there's probably some withdrawing fees as well. Which we have to account for. So you have to account for withdrawal fees that centralized exchanges will charge us, and we also have to account for the blockchain fees, in this case, Bitcoin fees. So if that's the case, I'll be able to generate $294.12 on one order. That is equivalent to almost 3%. Now, obviously, these are very, very wide bid-ask spreads and very favorable bid-ask spreads, and they're probably not going to happen. And I'm talking about just one account here, being me. And I'm talking about me being able to transfer Bitcoins from one of my accounts to another account. So that is also possible because I'm just, the account holder. However, what if there are two people who do this? And when there are two people, the whole situation with the bid-ask, with the exchange arbitrage is definitely slowing down, and almost impossible because I have to trust that other person. Because at the end of the day, what I have to do is I have to transfer $10,000 from one account. Let's assume that, like, I'm talking to Luca, and Luca, let's assume created Bitcoin account. So I'm CBP and Luca is Bitcoin. So I have to trust Luca with my $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. So I bought Bitcoin here at CBP. I know there's an exchange, the exchange arbitrage opportunity. I'll send that. I'll send those $90, whatever it was, 98 Bitcoins to Luca, and then Luca will have to sell it, and then I have to trust him to share profits with me. So he has to send me back $10,000 worth of Bitcoins, and he also has to send me back the half of the difference. So $294 that we generated, half to him and half to me. And that's how we made. So there's a lot of trust associated with that. And the two exchanges might not have the specific arbitrage. What if it's not Bitcoin? What if CBP and Bitcoin do not have those opportunities? What if they had it and now they don't have it? So now we have to be able to have some opportunities between CBP and, say, BitHump in Korea, or CBP and Binance, or CBP and Bitfinex. What if CBP is the most efficient market? What if you cannot have anything like that? What if you just have to focus on Bitcoin and BitHump? So the problem is kind of existing because if there are only two accounts, so CBP and Bitcoin, and if there are only two assets involved, in this case, say $90,000 worth of US dollars, and say 90.84 Bitcoins, right? And here we have $100,000. right? And for example, what Luca could do is he could short $10,000 worth of, well, he can actually short this amount of Bitcoins. So he could be not negative 90, 80 for Bitcoins. And because he shorted higher price here, he would have not $10,000 USD, but he would have this. So 100,000, 294. So that's the balance, right? And then that will make sense because again, here we would just exit out. So we would just cancel each other. And then the 294 will split half and half. So that's kind of the situation because here I bought Bitcoin and here Lucas shorted Bitcoin. Now, the problem with this and the problem with just doing exchange arbitrage right now is because there's no third asset. Because you cannot really, because of all the fees, it's very difficult to move Bitcoins around outside of the exchange. But what if there's a third asset? It's called RoninAi. And now there has to be this heavenly music, RoninAi, and then this fucking music has to play now. Because with RoninAi, what you can do is you can just exchange RoninAi with each other to compensate for the Bitcoin transfers. So RoninAi is the native token of native coin that we would like to suggest as part of the blockchain. That's why we would like to have blockchain first. Without blockchain, it's not going to be possible to have any of this or any of the exchange arbitrage transactions. You have to have this. Now with RoninAi, you won't have to transfer the Bitcoins. And again, this is something that I need to like still lay out. Like this is something that I need, like I didn't unfortunately have time to prepare for today. I tried to, but just wasn't enough time because I was a little bit distracted by here and there. But you won't have to transfer Bitcoins. So this account will have $90,000 worth of dollars and 9084 worth of Bitcoins. And then you would just transact with RoninAi in order to accumulate the profit because RoninAi will also have some kind of price. Now on this account, Luca will have to short 90.84 worth of Bitcoins, therefore appreciate, therefore have cash of not 100, but $110,294 and negative 90.84 Bitcoins. And in this situation, I think RoninAi will have to be transferred from here to here. And the RoninAi could be transferred automatically through smart contracts between the boxes. So if you do this many, many times with different exchanges, with people all over the world, so CBP with a Bquant, with Luca, CBP with a BitHump with, say, Paul, CBP with, let's say, some Argentinian exchange with Pedro and Felipe, our guys in Latin America. Hopefully some guy from West Africa, hopefully some dudes like Bitfinex, Binance from Russia. Then you are subjecting yourself to a bunch of exchange arbitrage opportunities in the meantime, while also doing trades.